This is a secret hack I learned from one of my wealthy clients that have been a mortgage broker for the last 15 years, and their kids are always topping the grades in their class, and they don't do any tutoring. And the secret is they proactively build a good relationship with their child's teacher. That's correct. Let's underline this. And their secret is better relationship with the child's teacher equals better grades or performance at school. Now, my kids are 5 and 7. One is in kindergarten and one is in year 2. So I haven't come to any conclusion whether this is true, but my ears are all open. I empty my ego cup and I'm listening. And their conclusion is, because their kids have been up to, year 9 to year 12, been through nearly the whole schooling system. Their conclusion is that if there's a zero relationship between yourself and your child's teacher, whatever the grades they're teaching is, well, with a aspect of the ratio of zero relationship with your kid's teacher, that equals that your kids will fall in the lower rung of class performance, which means bad grades. And these are 3 things that I absorbed from this conversation with this wealthy client that I want to share with you today. My wealthy client told me that the reason most parents don't actively build a good relationship with their child's teacher is because of a mindset issue. For example, when they were young or when they were, going through school, most of the, parents who raise children these days, they had a really bad relationship with their teachers. And therefore, they are scared to approach the child's teacher. And I personally relate to that because, I'm like a millennial and I grew up with really nasty teachers. Teachers that whack you, when you do something wrong. So when I see my child's teacher, I have that, bad trauma that kicks in and goes, am I, disrupting that teacher? Should I approach that teacher? And my wealthy client goes, well, that's your problem. You won't approach that teacher. So how are you supposed to develop a relationship with that teacher where you get to know your child's teacher? And I think that's correct. And the second component of the bad mindset that parents like me have is that, we're afraid of disturbing the teacher. We're afraid that we're hounding them with a lot of questions and that will leave them with a bad impression. And that leads to the second point of these 3 tips that they gave me. And that is, we don't know how to ask teachers questions. This wealthy client of mine who obviously has kids that have amazing grades says that 99% of parents, when they ask teachers, they'll go, hey, teacher, how's my kids going in school? Basically, she said, asking that type of question, hey teacher, how's my kid going in school, is a rubbish question. It's a useless question. It's like you never asked the question at all. The question is too broad. The teacher doesn't even know how to answer you. And generally, they'll just say, oh yeah, your kid's doing okay. Yeah. Instead, ask these 3 specific questions that is more performance related to your child. Say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. whatever, how's blah name, which is your kid's name, participation in class? Is he or she putting her hands up often to answer questions? Oh no? And then follow up with a why. Or a question like this. Hey, Mrs. Teacher, how's my kid's interaction with their peers in class? What do you think? And then follow up with why. Or another question would be, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Teacher, how's my blah, blah, blah name's kid's name personality like? Is he or she more introvert or extrovert in class? Do you have any suggestions about, how your kiddo's name could be more interactive in class with the peers? And tip number 3 is, even though you know the answers to those 3 questions that you asked the teacher, just ask anyway and pretend to be the dumbest parent in the world. Because to proactively build a good relationship with your child's teacher, well, you gotta allow the teacher of your child to feel a sense of accomplishment in teaching your kid by giving you their slice of their 2 cents or their opinion. And when they tell you that, and then you're absorbing that information, even though you already know it because you're a bloody smart parent, just pretend to be the dummy's guide to parenting 101, right? Oh wow, I didn't know that. Oh my God, is that what you're teaching in class? Just give your kid's teacher some love through your acknowledgement of their hard work. And the final parenting tip I got from this wealthy client, which I really think was a golden gem, is that you always got to teach your kid to be polite and respectful to their teachers. Because guys, I agree with this, right? Teachers, your kids' teachers, they're human. If your bloody kids, are ratty towards their teachers, well, how do you expect they'll be treating your kids? And she said it starts from actions, guys. Your kids' action towards their teacher. For example, when your kids are giving the homework to the teacher, like sometimes my kid do it and I tell them not to do it, or sometimes I see other kids do it. It's like, here you go. No, right? She's like, no. I teach my kids when they're giving the homework to the teacher, 2 hands, all right, and then you hand it to the teacher. Look her in the eyes and go, here's my homework, and smile, or say thank you, whatever. But have that sense of politeness. Because remember, parents, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Same applies for your kids, right? If your kids are fucking bratty, just really rude, and the way they treat you is rude, they're gonna treat their teachers rude. And at the end of the day, teachers hate to teach bloody rude kids. And if they have a bad relationship with your child, don't expect their grades to be good, because they don't really care about your kid, right? So guys, at the end of the day, I don't know whether you agree with this hack. I do agree with it to a certain extent. That is, I'm personally going to start proactively build a good relationship with the child's teacher by number 1, changing my mindset, not being afraid of them. Number 2, asking really good questions. And then number 3, giving the teacher a bit of love, right? Don't be the parent that knows it all, right? Empty your cup, empty your ego. Allow the teacher to feel a sense of accomplishment in teaching your child. Jump in the comments, let me know what you think.